You know, one thing about coffee, right, is that, I don't know, it calms you down. It takes away, I don't know, it's almost like it takes away your stresses and anxieties and things. So I'm waking up this morning and I'm just thinking, everything that's going through my mind is all the conversations that I've had and more over the last few months and so is about the worries and stresses people have. You know, people who can't sleep at night, they tell me how they can't sleep at night. And I go, why? What are you worrying about? Some say, no, no, I'm not talking about people who can't sleep because of medical reasons. Stressing and depression, I don't believe fully always is a medical condition. It's a choice. And people get stuck in it, you know. And I'm sitting there, why are you stressing? Why are you worrying? Why are you be anxious about all these things when you've got a God that says, I will fight for you? When you've got a God that says, trust in me and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge me and I'll do it. I'll direct your path. When you've got a God saying this to you, if you say you're doing it, then why are you still stressing and worrying about things? Then you're not really doing it, are you? Make sense what I'm saying? I know I'm direct this morning, but it's important that you get this. But some of these people I've realized they either don't know how to give it to God, or they didn't even know they can, um, and must still be taught a little bit. There is the third option of they don't want to, but I'm very certain there aren't people at all who want to live in stress and depression and anxiety all the time. I'm pretty sure nobody wants to be there. So you know, those people will tell me when I come, because I'm direct like that. I'm telling people straight to their face, you're being stupid when you can give it a God. And it's like, yes, John, but you make it sound so simple and easy. Yes, it is. That's because it is simple and easy. You give it a God and you leave it there. It'll work out exactly the way it's meant to be. The way it's supposed to, the way God planned it, that's the way it's going to be. And if you remember Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I think towards you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. So even if you get the result that you don't want, it is for your prosperity. It's for plans to give you a hope and a future, as the Lord declares in Jeremiah 29. It's important that you remember this. What's going to be a negative outcome for you now is for the greater good of you later, because God can see there. You can't see there. We can't see. We can barely see 2 feet in front of our face. You got to remember this. When Proverbs 3, here we go, a couple of verses for this morning. Proverbs 3, verse 5 or 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. God will show you where to go. Lean not on your own understanding. And the reason it says that is because our minds are limited when it comes to the Lord, because God does not operate within our levels of understanding. He doesn't have to, and he doesn't. And that's how he wows me every single time. Me being a thinker, being a speculator, always trying to sit there and go, oh, okay. Especially with my relationship being grown so much lately with the Lord. I'll sit there and I'll go, okay, God, okay, I see you. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. And exactly the reason why this is called left field is because he comes out of here every time. He got me following him and thinking him. I'm going, okay, I see what you're doing. And bam, he comes in here from this and I'm like, wow. That's what God does. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Gooi alles daarso. Los dit daarso. Give it to him. Cast it on him. He can carry it. Jesus says, my yoke is light. My burden is light. My yoke is easy. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 6, we've read this a few times as well, but verse 6 specifically says a time to search and a time to give up, to let it go, a time to keep and a time to throw away. You've got the time that you need to hold on to this thing and do what you need to do and work on it and do your business, and there's a time you let it go. Gooi weg. Give it to the Lord. It's not your business anymore. It's not your job anymore. You know what I mean? Philippians 4 verse 6, I love this one. Be anxious for nothing. For nothing. Be anxious for nothing. But in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made let your requests be made known to God. Let me just get that right. Be anxious for nothing, my friend, and tell God, this is what's up, Lord. Help me, please. Thank you. You know, there's so many more verses that you can find right throughout the Bible. And you do yourself a favor if you actually do. You find it. You write that down. You stick it next to your bed. You stick it next to your bathroom mirror. You stick it next to there where you spend a lot of time standing, doing whatever. Ladies with your makeups maybe will be some mirror somewhere. Your dress room, cupboard, door, whatever. There where you spend a lot of time, where you walk past all the time and you can't miss it. You put it there so you can see it, and then you read it every time, and then you read it, and then you read it, and then you read it again. And if you still don't believe it, then you read it again, and you read that thing until you believe it so you can start applying it to your life. You should actually start doing that now. Start applying it to your life now. Is there any physical action that you can still take towards this thing? Then go do it. Make that phone call. Sign that piece of paper. Send that email. Download the thing. Whatever. Climb in your car, drive to the place. Anything physical that you can still do, then you do it. If it isn't anything that you can do anymore, no more physical action that you can take, that generally means that you've done what you can. Now it's God's job. The rest of what's left is now God's job. If you sent a proposal into somebody and you're waiting on a reply from them, there's nothing you can do about it. Literally nothing. You've had every single conversation you've had with that person. You've sent the mails. You've had the phone calls. Blah, 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 blah. You've done everything. You've done the proposal to the best of your ability. You've sent it in. You sent it to them. This final decision is now up to them. That's God's job. That's where God kicks in. That's where we stop praying. We should be praying always. You know what I mean? So, and if God says he'll do it, he'll do it. There's a man part. And the man part of everything is the stuff that we must do, the actions we must take. Prayer doesn't count for me as a man part because we should always pray. You always pray anyway. And prayer is not going to fill out a document. Prayer is not going to send an email. You see what I mean? Prayer is not going to pick up the phone and dial somebody. So pray, we always pray, because that's how we increase our relationship with God, and that's how we speak to God anyway. When it becomes out of your hands, that's when you're done with your part. And then you start trusting God to do his part. And by worrying and stressing, yes, the interesting thing. As soon as you worry and stress or get anxious about this thing again, you're just taking it right back. You're just going, okay, thank you. I don't trust you, God. I don't trust you to do what you said you're going to do. Thank you anyway. Thank you. That's literally what you're doing. I've had people saying, John, it's not what I'm doing. That is what you're doing. That is what you're doing, and you need to stop doing that. Yes, John, it's not so easy. It's very easy. Be hard on yourself. Moan at yourself for worrying about nonsense anyway. And it is nonsense. As I said earlier, if it's not the result you're looking for, it's the result God needs for you, for your prosperity, for your hope, for your future. So stop taking it back from him. You know, and then that's often how I also hear those same people go, God didn't come through for them. But they never gave God a chance to come through for them. Yes, it takes work. It takes one step at a time, but if you start right now, you can be in such a better... It poisons your mind, man. It makes you this ugly person that you don't like, that nobody likes. And then you get even more depressed because nobody likes me, nobody loves me, nobody wants me. Because you get stuck in this ugly place. It's an ugly little piece of poisonous nonsense that ruins you. And we need to get you out of there. We need to get you free from the bondage of depression and anxiety and stresses and worries. And this is how you do it. You start leaving things up to God. You get in prayer. You put it down at his feet and you leave it there. You give it to God and you let go. Next time you go to church, you put it down at that altar and you leave it there, right there. You don't even think about turning back and taking it. You free yourself. God's never lost a battle. He always honors his word. In fact, the Bible says he honors his word higher than he honors himself. So that's saying something. So if that's the case, and all the scriptures we've just read and the others that are in the word, just saying he'll do it for you, then what in the world are we worried about over here? What are we worried about then in the end of the day? I need you to leave it there. Leave it with the Lord. He's got this.